Macinnes Show with. I'm the only one here so far. Revolution, you're in the comments. Did you get the invitation? You're on the invite list. Yeah, you're right there. Well, you're welcome to come in whenever you want to. It's half your show, you know. So welcome. My name is Aaron Haber. I'm the Haber part of the Haber Macinnes Show. Hello, Brenda. Hello, Let It Be. How are you? And tonight we will be discussing. I actually don't know. We didn't talk about it. It was a mutual decision not to talk about it, but we don't have to. We're two talking pros. You can't stop us from talking. Hello, Stephen. Hello, Don. That's what she said. Yeah. My wife gets annoyed when I say that's what she said after everything that she says. She's like, can you go upstairs and get the baby? And I'm like, that's what she said. She's like, I know. Yeah. So tonight, it's a very, very exciting show. It's almost March 31st. Oh. Hey, look who it is. It is our friend, Revolution.
What up, man?
Oh, what's up? So, I've been I have these AirPods in, and I had them in time for my my mic, but now I realize that only one of them is charged because I can only hear you in my right ear. Yeah.
Hang on, I got to change my Bluetooth frequency. Hang on.
Oh yeah, I do that all the time.
There you go. Oh, good.
Yeah.
So I have these wireless headphones, and I use a. Can you see down there? I've got a whole audio rig with a mixer and a digital audio converter, all that kind of stuff. And so, in order to use these Bluetooth headphones, I have to stream out the Bluetooth signal from the digital audio converter back to the headphones. And sometimes the connection isn't perfect, so there's a delay, and it's really hard to talk with like a 40 millisecond delay. You just start talking like it's just weird.
Oh, yeah.
You can't do it. I thought I could get used to it. It made me physically ill after doing it for like an hour or so. Yeah.
No, I hate it when you're on somebody's show or they're on your show as a guest and you hear that tiny little muffled echo in the back. Yeah, and that usually means that they don't know anything about like how to get on a broadcast properly.
Exactly.
And so like
interview people.
Yeah.
Pre-interview.
So to try to say to them like, hey, can you? It's no use. You just have to deal with it. Like show I do with my dad every week. I'm just like I'm not going to be able to explain.
Well, here's what they do. Like they used to do for like big time things. Like they just send them all the gear in UPS, tell them how to connect it, have an engineer on the phone, and that's how they would get great sounding stuff. But now that we have this, people that think they can wear a pair of earbuds on a cord and they're going to get like great sound, it's not going to happen. So if these folks, you got to do a pre-interview. I mean, you got to make sure their stuff works before you're, when you're a day or two before the interview, or you're going to be screwed. Like I got a musician coming on Thursday night. I do not like to do a pre-interview the night of the show, but it just worked out. She wasn't going to be back in the studio where she's going to do it from until then. So yeah, we'll roll the dice, but hopefully it'll be fine. But I did directing on, was it yesterday, day before? I directed like 3 or 4 hours of the International Women's Day thing. And man, I mean, I don't want to talk tales or nothing, but let's just say there's some of us on this platform that, you know what? I don't want to say anything, but I'm the director. Okay. I'm in charge. That's how it works. Okay.
That's right. Listen, especially on International Women's Day, if those women are getting out of line, you have got to step in and be like, you listen, you broads. It's International Women's Day. You're not going to fuck it up for me.
Oh, thanks, Aaron. I was already getting grief, legitimate grief for why there weren't any women directors yesterday. But yeah. So there's that.
Listen, I mean, how would that even happen? Of course I'm joking. Yeah. International Women's Day. That was What was I looking up? Oh, it was funny because I was looking up international potato chip flavors yesterday, and I kept on just typing in international, and Women's Day would come up, and I'm like, no, don't assume. I'm looking up international potato chip flavors.
I heard you
We
were
got
talking
that
about
sorted
potato
away.
chips.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're doing a potato chip tasting of exotic potato chip
Really?
flavors. Yeah, sometime in a couple of weeks or
What are
so.
some exotic potato chip flavors? I gotta
Well,
look good here.
I can make some up, but I'll just tell you the ones that we're
Uh-huh.
really doing, which is Kobe beef,
Rum and Coke.
rum and coke. No, Kobe beef,
Uh-huh.
uh, coffee milk oolong tea,
Oh God.
spicy lobster,
Well, that'd
spicy
be
lobster,
okay.
uh, butter, butter garlic scallops, and
Okay.
KFC flavor.
Just KFC flavored,
Yeah,
not extra crispy or anything. Just KFC
I don't
flavored.
know. I don't
11
read
herbs and
Thai.
spices.
Yeah. Well, I
Kentucky
think they
Fried
only got
Movie.
the rights for 10 of them,
So it's
10 of the spices.
KFC-ish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
They left one of them off.
I like that. I like that.
When you look at the Colonel Sanders logo, do you see a guy with a bow tie or do you see a giant head and a very tiny body?
Now I see the giant head and the very tiny body because somebody
Yeah.
pointed that out to me in an
Yeah.
article or something. Yeah, it's like I can't unsee it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like
Yep.
me with porn and buttholes now. Same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So,
You know what they do though, Aaron,
no,
with
no,
those things you were just talking about? Did
no.
you know that they're depending on the budget of the film, somebody digitally
Mhm.
bleaches the buttholes of the
Hmm.
actresses.
Hmm.
Like,
Hmm.
you know,
Interesting.
that like can you imagine having that job? Oh no, that's lighten that one up just a little bit right there. Oh, ooh, that looks natural. That's perfect.
Hmm. So are they utilizing like green screen butt plugs then? How are they how are they doing this?
How are they doing it? Well, I would imagine that they have software that tracks the butthole, and then they see the area they want to lighten it up, and it probably just push a button, and you got a lighter butthole. I mean, you can
So
also
that's
bleach your butthole in real life,
yeah.
which some of them do.
So your theory is that they have butthole tracking technology.
Yes,
That is
yes,
your theory.
dude, they can track anything.
Sure. Yeah.
We can track
Okay.
incoming asteroids. We can track buttholes. Wow, this sure evolved quickly, didn't it? I love it.
Yes, I've never bleached my butthole. I don't know. Maybe I'm not a good husband.
Oh,
Is that a
yeah,
thing
I
that you're
dated a woman
I
for a
mean,
while that was nice. She bleached it for me specifically. I didn't ask her, but she's like, we were, one going to do one of the things that the adults do. And she said, "Hey, honey, I bleached my asshole for you." I'm like, "Oh, that's so
what?
nice.
Go
Thank
to
you."
the opera? I
Yeah.
mean, that's nice. I don't think the singers are going to care, but it's nice to know you did that.
Well, I think it was one of
Uh,
those things where it's like, get a Brazilian and get a free butt bleaching or whatever. I think it was probably like a twofer kind of thing.
this is
Really?
a world I
Wow.
try to stay
You're
out
not going
of.
to delete this either, are you? That's fine.
I don't want to know anything about anybody bleaching their butthole.
It
It's one
does
of
feel
those
like
things
Bill
where
Maher now, but yeah.
I'm one of the things that Elvis did really well. I think I'm not saying that Elvis had a great marriage. I don't know whether he did or not, but
He's not exactly who I think of for great marriages, but maybe.
the thing that he did, apparently, it was like we're not going to hang out unless we're both like done up and ready to go. That's a little bit weird now that I think about it. Now that I say it out loud, but he would never see his wife unless she was ready to be seen. You know?
Oh. Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I mean, who is his wife?
Priscilla Presley.
Priscilla Presley. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, she was a very attractive looking
Star of
woman.
the
So
Naked Gun.
it's not, it's not like, you hear that guy that sued his wife because she produced ugly babies and he was
I can
deceived by
understand
all of
that.
her plastic surgery.
I can understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. I
That's
mean,
legitimate. Yeah.
I,
I think I did read that story actually.
yeah,
Listen,
yeah. So,
I mean, that's not a very good father, if we're going to be honest. I don't want to be controversial here, but if you have now, luckily, I have very, very adorable babies, but if you have
so do
ugly
I.
babies, I think that you have to just pretend like you don't. I think you're
Of
like,
course.
or just be very supportive and say things like, "Hey, listen, you may be incredibly ugly, but you have other good features, which we
Yeah.
will figure out at some point."
Right. I mean, like me, a face for radio. That's,
Oh, you're joking? Yes, yes,
yes.
no,
No.
no.
I
Come
mean,
on, what do you mean? No, no. I think on the weeks that we do my broadcast, I think you're going to have to live with some very small viewership numbers.
oh,
I've
dude, no, it's fine because we got to build it together on here. Like, here's the kicker for me is that the first hour of my show, I don't invite anybody up, right?
yeah,
So I'm not going to, like I let in like Bobby Bicker and I are doing a show, right? Well, I'm not going to have her just pop in because that breaks the format, but that keeps my, viewership down. But at this point, it's all about once they get discovery going. We've been here long enough. We've got a base of fans. Look, if there are, let's say, 100 people that are kind of dedicated to my show, I've been exposed to a few hundred, maybe a few thousand. I figure if I expose myself to millions, I'm certainly
yes,
going to get some people that'll like me. So
yes.
I'm not worried about the numbers anymore. You know what I mean? But
No,
I'm here
I'm
to
not
help
either.
you, and I know you're here to help me. No,
Yeah,
I know you're not
we're
worried
helping
about the
each other.
numbers. I know you're not worried about
We're
them.
helping each other to expose ourselves. I understand
Yes, exactly.
the joke that we're talking about here. We are exposing our bleached buttholes. That's right, Paul.
Yes.
It is quality, not quantity, especially in the butthole bleaching industry, because each person generally has one butthole.
And there's
So
not a lot of real estate there, so you can't charge that much, right? I mean,
it just sounds like you
it's like
haven't
a
dated a lot.
just like a quick in and out. Well, not a lot of real estate there. Yeah, depends on what you like, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. It's like an opinion. Everybody bleaches their butthole. This is not the kind of conversation that I even normally have on my broadcast. So I don't know what's going on here.
No, mine either, but mine might be influenced by this.
He, oh yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, I just did a skeptical science show with a guy named Brian Dunning. I really want to say this here. So a few weeks ago, I got to hang out with my buddy Brian Dunning, who I actually interviewed a couple of weeks ago. Thanks to somebody that used to be on this platform that, honestly was really stupid in some of the things they did. But what they did with me is they connected me with Brian Dunning, and he's like a personal hero. It's awesome. So tonight on his show, there's a couple other science communicators. One's name is Blake Smith. He's at Dr. Atlantis on Twitter, and then Fraser Kane, who's he's like an astrobiologist or something, but he's got a no, actually, he's just a science communicator. But these are like guys I've been listening to their podcasts for years, like 10 years, like religiously every weekend or whatever. And I'm sitting on the stage in Clubhouse with them, and they're like a guest on a show I'm like a regular on now. And like, it's pretty
That's cool.
fucking cool. You know what
Yeah,
I
that's
mean?
cool.
It's pretty
Yeah.
damn cool.
Hey, by the way, that is very cool. I think I just noticed that I think I know who you're talking about. And I think I just noticed that they were no longer on the platform.
Yes, I noticed that too fairly frequently. Rhymes with, um,
No,
yeah,
I don't even
never
want to
mind.
go there. I don't want to
No,
go
I don't
there.
wanna go there either.
I
Nice.
was just no, and I don't have anything against the person at all. I was just like
No, I
there was
like
an
the person, but
onslaught. There was an onslaught of broadcasting, and I just noticed that there wasn't. And I was like, oh, I wonder what that is. Oh, hey Bernie, how you doing? Ugly babies aren't ugly to their moms. You're a good-looking man. Your spectacular voice suits you, Rev. By the way, Aaron Revan. Hello. Oh, your compliment kicked him off of the platform, Bernie. Thanks a lot, Bernie. Oh, he's back. Okay. You back?
I'm still frozen though. Hold on, let me fix it's on my end. My computer, honestly, like it's 10 years old and I mean it can't run any other program when I'm doing this. It's scary that this thing's gonna break and then I'm gonna have to break into my neighbors and steal his computer
Oh
and
no.
going, you know.
I feel like you just gave the police your confession.
Yeah, well, I
I
would be a different neighbor then.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I've been when did you start live streaming?
70 hold on a second. I so 2 weeks before
No, but
hang on a
not
second.
on Haps, like all
Oh.
together.
Oh, altogether?
Mm,
I joined Periscope in 2015, but I used it for a couple of protest, like the Quan McDonald stuff in Chicago. I broadcast some stuff from some of the Black Lives Matter stuff I was at and the political stuff I was at, but I didn't do it very often. It actually wasn't until the November, what do
yeah.
you call it, midterms that I started broadcasting every night.
What,
And I mean, I broadcast
2018?
on Periscope for like 2 years. But I mean, I was lucky to have 40 people in there. I mean, politics, old white guy didn't exactly draw them in, but I had fun every night, which I do now, you know. So,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't remember why I asked you at this point, but yeah, no, I
I
was
don't know either, but I had a core
yeah,
group of people that have stuck with me and I just want to say that I love them to death.
same
They
here.
are yeah, your core people are amazing and I have to
Have
make
you
sure
named
as
them?
I'm huh?
Have you named them? Do they have a
Name
name?
do they have oh like for the group?
Yeah,
Oh, I don't know. We should come up with a name. Yeah.
the Revolution. There you go.
Yeah, do you have yours named?
Team Habers. Team
Team
Haberers.
Habers. I like that. Yeah, Team Anna, everybody. She just interviewed me on Sunday night. We talked about my homelessness. It's actually a pretty good interview. It's a very good interview. And
Were you
you
homeless in
know,
Chicago?
I was
Were you
back
homeless
in
specifically on Belmont and Halsted?
Halstead.
Because I feel like that's probably where that was a good spot to be.
Yeah,
There's
so
one
here's the
corner in
thing.
particular that's the homeless corner there.
Yeah, like homeless people don't tend to be panhandlers and panhandlers don't tend to be homeless. So,
Yeah, right. I know.
yes, but
I
yeah,
used
I
to I
didn't.
used to work at Wrigley Field selling programs outside of the stadium for an independent program person, and there were guys who were always pretending to be homeless, and they
Uh,
would sell the Onion,
right,
which is a free paper. I know they sell the
right,
paper, but and then they would like come up to me, and I'm like, fuck you, man! Like you make more money than I do, selling
right.
like pretending to be bullshit. I'm not giving you shit, you know.
And there are professional panhandlers, no doubt about it. Now there are a couple of guys in Chicago that are at Clark and Ridge, and then down Ridge and at Broadway or so. So you go to the one at Clark and Ridge, you see the guy. Okay, all right, you know, see that guy every day. Then one day you turn on Ridge and you go down to Broadway and Ridge, and in that distance, no human being could run that fast, and the guy's down there. And then you start like, wow, that's some good weed, right? And then so you realize that there are twin panhandlers that
Mm,
panhandle within, you know, a half a mile of each other. But their story is that they're from Syria, they're Syrians, and they don't have their documentation. They can't get a job.
mm.
They can't get their documentation. So they stay in a crappy, you know, like boarding house place, like from the 1800s, you know, and they panhandle all day, and their life
But
sucks
no,
because
wait a second
nobody
though.
will give them a break.
I have extreme sympathy. But what about all the other people that have no documentation that are able to get cash jobs?
Well, these are these are men, and maybe they're not. I haven't talked to them that much, but maybe they're not, you know, particularly mechanically inclined. They can't do construction work. They're not the general labor pool for construction either, which would be Latinx people, and so they may not be
Right,
able to kind of get
right.
into the group, right?
But I have worked. Listen, I don't know their story. Obviously, I'm not kicking people when they're not having a good time. But I've worked in different restaurants and comedy clubs, and the kitchen staff is generally undocumented from another country, and they are working there and getting paid in cash. Um, So I have no idea what their story is,
Well, here's the
obviously.
thing. They could both be have mental health issues too. So,
Right.
um,
Sure.
I mean, that's
Coming
typically
from
the
Syria,
problem with
Syria is no
most homeless people.
Syria, yeah, so, and Syria is no easy place to come from, by the way.
Yeah, no,
Um,
no, no, no. They could be just
I
traumatized. Yeah.
did you read the story? I want to say it was California, but I could be wrong. Did you read the story about the homeless man who saved like all the animals from a burning pet shop?
Wow. No.
This happened a few months ago, and I think they did a big like GoFundMe or something. I hope they did. Um, but anyway, so he had a dog that they would let stay in the shelter, I guess for free at night or whatever it was to keep the dog safe. And the man would hang out by the pet store, but not the store, but the whatever it was, the animal
Mhm.
clinic or whatever, each night. I guess just that's where he camped out.
Yeah.
And the place was on fire, and so he went in to rescue his dog, but he also rescued like all the animals.
Wow.
And now that was amazing, right?
Yeah.
That was amazing. But then I read the man was, I believe, he was 53 years old, and he had been homeless since he was 13 years old.
Holy crap.
And I just got so sad and angry because what fuck I get that there are problems here. You know that better than I do. But
Mhm.
40 years, and I get it that people learn they sort of like get into a way of life, and that is a way of life. And if you are homeless, and again, I don't mean to say anything because you should be the one speaking on this, it's difficult to get out of it.
Well, yeah, and I mean, homelessness is, it's certainly not a monolith. It's different for everybody. But um, when I became homeless in kind of a odd set of circumstances, but where we were staying, we would be in the library a lot, right? When I was first homeless, that's where people stayed and to hang out. And I'm like, hey, you know what? I'll learn French or something. I got plenty of time. I couldn't. It's a full time job to be homeless. Know where which shelter you're going to that night. Who's going to load up. In my case, my Starbucks card because I had some online connections. Like I spent the whole day just trying to stay afloat. So it's not like you can do much. So I could have seen getting, being homeless for 40 years if you start when you're 13 and you have no other frame of reference. The problem here is homelessness is easily solved. We could solve it in 3 to 6 months. It's build
And
enough
some
fucking
cities have
houses
done
for
that.
people to stay in. That's all you
Some
need to
cities
do.
have done that.
Just need to build them for everybody. It's political will. And if the American people, listen to me, American people, if you people want to end homelessness, then end it. Just tell the government that you're tired of homelessness and make them build homes for everybody. But the American people, like, well, yeah, but I would mean like some dude's getting a free home. Yep. He's getting a free home because he has no home. Yeah, but some of those people will never work. Yep. They're never going to work because they have problems and they have issues and they're going to get a free home. Now, you want to go out on the street and qualify for your free home? I mean, go ahead and do it because not that many people are going to scam themselves into a free home, probably. But yeah, that's how it works. You give people enough that need a home and you're good to go. That's all it takes.
So
Nothing else. No special programs, no free socks. You give people homes and you're done.
so one, um, this has been done to a certain extent in different cities.
Hmm.
I know of Phoenix in particular. They said, we realize that we have a large number of homeless veterans on our streets, and we don't want that. Now, the thing that bothers me about that program is like, of course, veterans should get extra special treatment from the government for the rest of their lives, as far as
Oh,
I'm
sure.
concerned, right? But when you say, well, we have all these homeless people here, 40% of them, I'm making up a number, by the way, 40% of them are
Mhm.
veterans. Let's help them, and the rest of 60% can go fuck themselves. That's the part
Mhm.
where I'm like, that's okay. But if you're gonna start with one group, fine. And
Mhm.
they ended homelessness for veterans in Phoenix. Now I don't know where the program is a couple of years out now, but the program seemed to have a huge
Right.
amount of success. One of the reasons they did it, and what I love is that there's a certain part of the country where you have to justify being not. You have to justify being like morally centered with economics, right?
Mhm.
So they said, well, it costs us more money for these people to be homeless than it would to help them. And so, yes, that's true, right? That's the reason why we should help them, though. I mean, I get it that you put it out there. Well, it costs more. So it's like, because so if it costs more money if it costs $10,000 more a year to put them in a home, we shouldn't do that. I've never
The thing is,
understood.
it's not actually totally true. So Eleanor brought up a good point that there, a lot of homes in bankruptcy and stuff that you could convert to places for people. I mean, different parts of the country have different needs, and what kind of things you would have to build. But you got to remember that anybody that's getting social services that is homeless versus social services when they're not homeless, it's about like a 15-to-1 ratio. Once you're homeless, you need a lot more social services, and it costs a lot more money to do it for homeless people than it does for you before you're homeless. So if you want to save money, not only do you have to put all the homeless people in a home, but all the people that are near homeless, you got to have systems for them, like a living wage, 25 bucks an hour. And in some cities, in New York, it'd be 50 bucks an hour. In LA, it might be 55 bucks an hour. But you need a living wage in this country. The minimum wage needs to be a living wage. And then again, you don't have an issue. When 8 guys control more effing money, I don't know if I can swear on the show, control more effing money um, than than the rest of us, those look, I like Bill Gates. I think he's done some great work. I mean, some of these guys are, I guess, outstanding people, but it's still time to get the pitchforks and rob their fucking bank accounts. This shit is ridiculous.
Well, yeah, except, listen, I agree to a certain extent, except that there is a club of these very, very wealthy people who have pledged and already are in the process of giving away all their money.
No,
So,
no doubt, no doubt. But wait, but instead of stealing it from us and then giving it back to some of us, through capitalism, stealing money out of the people that don't have it, barely have it, and putting it into the people that already have it. Instead of that
wait,
system, you create a more equitable system that levels the playing field for everybody, where there are no poor people and there are no
yes,
wealthy
agreed,
people.
agreed. Well, I don't know. See, that's where we're going to disagree because I don't think there shouldn't be any wealthy people. I think there shouldn't be any poor people. I am the
Well,
first
that's
choice.
fine. I mean, that's fine. I'm cool with that.
Well, look,
I'm cool
so
with
so
that.
here's my example here, right?
But we don't need billionaires worth $250 billion. We don't need them.
No,
That
no, but
just
even they
ridiculous.
say that they don't need it. Even most of them are like, I should be taxed a hell of a lot more than I am,
Oh yeah,
right?
but they're not. And why aren't they? Because they say it, but their people, the businesses they own, no, 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 Mr.
But some of these
Bezos.
people,
We're
listen,
gonna F over your Amazon employees, not even give them health insurance because
well, yeah,
that's
well,
what
fuck Jeff
CEOs
Bezos,
do. Your personal philosophy is your personal philosophy, sir.
right? And I'm sure that if we dug into Bill Gates, that he didn't pay everybody exactly what they should, fine. But Bill Gates is like,
He's
I mean, the
amazing.
guy is funding, trying to fund the end of disease in
He
developing
ended
countries,
polio, or not
right? And
polio,
not polio,
whatever, one of those things.
malaria, like is a big
Yeah,
thing for him. And vaccine development, I think they put like 100 million or something towards, and just throwing money at every problem. And I
yeah,
believe
yeah.
that his thing is just to give away all his money. So if somebody does something extraordinary and the market says, well, we're just going to pay the fuck out of this guy, and the guy turns around and says, thank you very much, I'm going to give back all that money to society, I don't know how much we can vilify the guy. I mean,
Yeah,
you're
I
not
mean,
evil for making money. You're evil if you're evil.
no,
Lots of
the
poor people are
system
evil
is
too.
evil, but no, they're not evil. The system is evil. I mean, capitalism is based on feudalism. Feudalism was evil. Capitalism is just a more sophisticated, refined version of feudalism. It's not a good thing. Capitalism thrives under fascism, thrives in a communist state like China. It actually is harder to do capitalism in a country like America that has some semblance of freedom. The more they crack down on us, the more we become fascist. Here's the deal: you got a pharmaceutical company. We're gonna make a new medicine. and it is amazing. It will, grow your hair back and cure cancer and remove warts. It's the most awesome medicine. But 500,000 people a year will die when they take it. But 8 billion people, their lives will be changed, right? Well, you might be like, we really want to kill 500,000 people, to give everybody a better life. Maybe we're willing to kill 5,000, but what's the number? But in a capitalist society under fascism, like nobody's going to even notice how many people are dying. Nobody's going to be able to protest it. Nobody's going to be able to say anything about it. So then the corporations don't have to worry about polluting. They don't have to worry about, anything. So capitalism is a
there's a
nasty
sweet
system.
spot. Listen, I am a Democrat and I am pretty damn liberal, but there
Mhm.
is a sweet spot between overregulation, which is what the Democrats usually do, and no fucking regulation, which is what the Republicans do. And there is a sweet spot where you actually let the people that are running the corporations responsibly give input into what the actual regulations need to be.
Where
And you
have
don't,
you heard of a responsible corporate head? Where are they? What corporations?
well, that's why you have government saying, okay, well, you can't just get whatever the fuck you want. There are going to be regulations. You can't dump sludge into the water. That's something you
Mhm.
can't do. But we're also not going to put restrictions on your company that literally make no sense to anybody working within your industry. And it fucks the industry compared to foreign competition. There is a sweet spot where those things can exist, where you protect the environment, you protect the workers, and
Mhm.
you also protect the industry that you are regulating.
But again,
Because
I love you, dude, but where does that happen at? Where's that happening at? When has that
I'm
happened
saying
before?
that it should happen.
Well,
I'm
yeah, of
saying that that's
course.
what
I'd be right
should
there with
happen.
you. But that shit ain't gonna happen. I mean, the only way that shit's gonna happen is with a hammer, not a flower. Like,
So
I
let's be
mean,
carpenters and take out our hammers.
yeah, I mean, you've got to take the capitalists down because that's not a capitalist system right there. That's not corporatism right there. That's actually called egalitarianism or equality or, empathetic
But
corporate
with no, but I'm just saying
whatever.
within the system, no, it would take leaders. It would take actual leaders to make decisions that were middle of the road, that are not so far progressive that you kill the industries, or not so far conservative that you kill the people.
Well,
There's got to be there's
you know
something
who the
in the
bad guy
middle.
is? The reality is the bad guy's Wall Street. And the reason the bad guy is Wall Street is in the 1950s, if you were a successful corporation, you were most likely owned by a family. And, like everything, 98% of, business is small retail, it's small business. And you had, Lafayette, Indiana, Decatur, Georgia, or something. There's a corn refining plant. It's owned by a family. So the family has the biggest house in town, right? And then they pay their managers, a good wage, and they pay their union workers a good wage. And the CEO makes maybe 5 times more than his top
Right,
managers or something,
right,
right?
right.
And there's no Wall Street to want the money to demand that they cut the salaries and the wages of the employees and
But there,
hire
but
the
there
middle
was,
managers.
there was a Wall Street, but it just wasn't this current. For the last 20, 30 years, it really started. It it started a bit under Reagan when they demolished the taxation of the rich, and it's also a bit of a change in corporate mentality where the era that you're talking about, the corporations had a sense of responsibility to the communities, and they really did care about the communities because one, that's what they thought they should do, and two, it did well for them
And
financially.
And by
And
SEC
now,
regulation, you are not allowed to put the interest of anything other than regulation ahead of your investors. Any
not
move you make has to be beneficial to your investors,
right,
or you're going to be in violation of
right,
SEC regulations. And when
right,
that's the rule,
right,
it's over. It's over.
right.
It's all about the money. In the
Yeah.
50s, it wasn't all about the money. It was about building community. It was
I will
about,
say though,
a civil society.
and you're right. And I will say though, and I'm not saying that there is a corporation that is not doing something fucked up to the environment or using, child slave labor in some faraway country or
Mhm.
paying their employees shit. I'm not saying that there are perfect corporations here, But I will say that in the past year or so, and during the Trump administration, some of the corporations did step up, and they were like, "No, no, fuck this! I'm not going along with your bullshit.
Mhm.
Like, we're going
I
to look
agree.
long
I
term.
agree.
We're going to, the automakers, when Trump wanted to deregulate all the emission standards that Obama put in,
Mhm.
and the automakers were like, "No, we already figured it out, and it's going to cost us a
Right.
shit much. It's going to cost us a lot more money. It's going to change as soon as you get out of office. It's not responsible to do."
Right.
And so they got to. I mean, the government was basically going to sue them
Right.
to like to have less standards than they wanted to have.
Right.
And
Hey.
even the companies that got rid of political action money, at least for a little
Uh-huh.
bit, and punished the people that voted against the certification of the election results.
Right.
Um, they kind of stepped up when they didn't have to. I'm sure they probably lost a lot of business doing it. So again, I'm not saying that any of these companies are perfect, but I am saying that I appreciated it when they actually took some steps that the government wasn't taking itself.
Well, let me say this because first thing I want to say is look at the time, brother, because I know you might need to get to your
We
little
have to
one.
go in a minute or two. So final word from you.
Good. Okay. So yeah, final word from me. Uh, who's in the cheap seats here, as Helen would say? Who's in the chat that knows me? Follow Aaron, please, and vice
And
versa.
yes, and
I,
everybody
yeah,
everybody from Team Haber, please follow Revolution. Just
yeah,
yeah,
thank you. Because
follow.
I
Yeah.
honestly had so much fun tonight. I don't give a fuck if
Yeah.
anybody watches this. I want to do this every week. So
Yeah, it was a good time.
yeah, it was a very good time,
Ma
man. No, I
Yeah.
love it. This was great. And yeah, I'd like to talk about this stuff in more detail next week. There's a long way we can go with this. So
Yeah, I'll try to see if I can finagle the schedule, the home schedule a little bit to give us a little bit more time.
sure. Well,
Um,
we could, yeah, I mean, it'd be odd to on a, you know what? Let me talk to the executive producer and see, because if I went on a half hour earlier, would that help?
well, sure, I'm already on, so I'm basically spending from 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock just waiting for you. But I get it
Okay.
because we're
Well, let
both
me
doing the
let
same
let's
thing.
chat.
You are taking care of your family, and when
Right.
I leave, I'm
Right.
taking care of my family. Thank you, Bernie.
Well,
So
then,
yes,
oh wow, look at that.
yeah, Brenda, thank you. So let me just say thank you to my sponsors here. They sponsor all my shows, and I suppose they have sponsored this one. So Admiral, Vegas Brent, Dick Long, Jason Short, John Yoder, Tina Lynn, Brenda, Mark Gage, Jack Bury, Sports for the Blind, and Bernie. Thank you very much. Revolution and I do
Oh,
this show every Tuesday. Stay tuned. We
yep.
might change the time slightly. And
We
Revolution
changed the title,
broadcasts
time,
basically 23 hours
host.
a day. So you can
See?
catch him here all the time. Yes. And I
Yes,
come
I am.
on basically every night at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Sorry, go ahead.
No, no, no. I just want to just say to Admiral, Vegas Brent, Dick Long,
Thank you,
Jason
Eleanor.
Short, John Yoder, Tina Lynn, Brenda, Mark Gage, Jack Burry, Sports for the Blind, and Bernie. Way to F and go, people. You know what I mean? Share the love on here. That is really awesome to sponsor Aaron. And I know whether you sponsor him, for 100K or $1. I mean, if you can do 100K, do it.
It's
But
mostly
just
100K.
send
Yes.
it to his back account. Um, he appreciates the hell out of it because I know I've got about the same amount of sponsors, and somebody sponsored today that means something to me. A close friend that I met on here, and I was like, "Holy shit! I can't." But you didn't need to sponsor me. That was awesome. But you know what? You do need to sponsor each other. We need to keep this economy
Yeah.
going,
Yeah.
and buy coins. Buy coins on the desktop. They're cheaper. And yeah, Aaron, dude, this. Some of the most fun I'm going to have with my clothes on a Tuesday night. So I appreciate it.
Well, all right. Same here. Thank you, Brenda. And Brenda, thank you for being the producer of these shows. Um, and that's it. Revolution. See you soon. Team Haber. See you soon. All the Revolution people. Thank you for being here. And I'll be back on tomorrow night at 6 p.m. with my dad.
Well, that'll be
And
fun.
maybe stupid trivia for weirdos on Saturday at 6 p.m. as well. And make sure to check out when you follow Revolution, you'll get his notifications